Fnatic. And it has been a big one. It has been a long one. Fnatic, they're going to be on red side this time. That's what we get a little different.
Yeah, choosing red side. It's been 2 games of Roccat on blue, so we will see exactly
on red,
how... yes, sorry.
You get your colors mixed up after a series like this long.
It's been a long game, and it not only for us, like the players as well. A lot of fatigue now as we go into Game 3. And something that people won't have seen during the break is as the teams come back out onto stage, Fnatic didn't necessarily come back as a unit. Like, Reckless just stepped on stage on his own and has actually sat out here a little longer than the rest of his team. So obviously he had the discussions that we saw coming into it. And I mean, it's fairly public knowledge. He had an interview today talking about some of the struggles that he and Fnatic have had over the last few weeks. So clearly weighing heavily on the mind of the veteran player in the AD carry role. His own performances have been solid. You can't argue against that, but Fnatic seem to be lacking an it factor in a lot of these games over the last few weeks.
Well, we'll see if they can find it in game number 3. Roccat, they elect to ban away the Camille. That's on the blue side again. And there's that Swain ban. Fnatic taking away one of Betsy's secret weapons.
Yeah, taking away one of his big mid lane picks. Vlad is the other one. So Shen goes. Will that mean we'll see the Malzahar gone as well out of Fnatic? That's been one of the picks they've banned away. Roccat have also banned Gragas, so maybe we'll see that on blue side from him.
Yeah, this has been a bit of a mix-up. Obviously, last time around, we had much the same picks and bans in the first couple rotations as we did in game number 1. If you remember all the way back to when this series began, seems like it was some time. Fnatic are taking their time on the bans. And there's the Renekton.
Yeah, it's basically banning away the composition that Roccat played against them in the last game. Having that Swain, that Renekton, made for a lot of trouble for Fnatic, pushed them very late on in the game.
Early Cassiopeia ban that had been banned away by Roccat both times in the previous games, but on red side and in second rotation.
This indicates first phase Vladimir out of Roccat. It may not be first pick Vlad. I actually think that would be a giveaway in momentum now with the Graves up, the Rengar available for Roccat if they want either. But it's an indicator that Roccat are looking to put that Vladimir in the hands of Betsy again.
Well, see if that's the case. Roccat are weighing their options as we get into 10 seconds to make their first pick. And they're going to lock it. All on the line, it's the Vlad.
The Vlad, we knew it would be a contentious pick. Roccat more scared of Fnatic taking the Vlad in their first rotation than Roccat was scared of anything else. The Rengar, the Graves, you name it. Fnatic now have their pick of jungle. And Fnatic now have a lot of pressure on them to take a safe mid laner to play against this Vlad.
We do not often see the mid lane being the first pickup.
Especially not a Vlad in this meta. There is room for these comfort picks for teams like Roccat. We were talking about it a little last week on the analyst desk. Talking about how teams like Roccat, if they find this playstyle that works for them, get the picks that allow you, facilitate that composition.
I'll see what they build with it. For Fnatic's side, they've locked the Ezreal, and in the couple seconds ticking down, they switch it over, and it's the Rumble.
And I like this. They were hovering the Ori, which I think is what they'll pick up in the next pickup. It'll be the 3rd pick for them. But Rumble here takes away so much of Faxi's champion pool. If you play a tank matchup, you are accepting a lost laning phase, which means Roccat have to pick something like a Nautilus in this rotation that can have effect outside of the laning phase. Otherwise, you're getting pushed onto a top laner that is going to get out laning phase and out team fort. And that's some pretty bad grammar from me on that one.
It happens, especially this late in the day. We've had 2 winning lane matchups, I say in air quotes, because so has kept pretty even in all honesty on the board, but now that's going to be a little different. Roccat take their bottom lane, and it's a throwback.
So there's some wave clear coming to you. We, of course, had some Varus adjustments. A little bit more focus now on consuming some of the Blight stacks to get that cooldown back on, or at least reduce cooldown on your Q. There's the Orianna.
As expected, it's locked in for Fnatic. They've gone a little different.
Can you say team fight?
I think I can. Preparing myself already. We enter the second phase of bans, and now it's Fnatic's turn to see what they want to take away from Roccat, who've yet to take their top laner or their jungle.
I mean, Fnatic likely going to ban the Nautilus. There you go. just a second late.
Should have given it to you earlier.
Claiming credit. I said Nautilus earlier on in the draft on Roccat.
There you go. Take what you get. Karma's banned away by Roccat.
I like this, though, because Karma is one of the supports here that Fnatic could have taken to try and alleviate some of the push power and augment the team fighting coming from Fnatic as well, enhance it. And looking at other supports that can do that, not quite on the same level as Karma.
Well, the Lulu was banned away, so Roccat have to be feeling pretty happy that their Malzahar is definitely going to have a lot of push potential on. You know what else? You know what is still up? Zyra.
Zyra is still available. Also, there are a couple of other supports like Alistar potentially. It sounds weird. It sounds strange, but the Alistar matchup is one that has been played into Malzahar. I wonder whether, I mean, it helps team fighting as well, right? You get an engaged ball delivery. We might see Fnatic go that way. Jungle is likely to be the pick here unless they're flexing Rumble. But there are a couple of picks still available for Fnatic. A lot of jungle, like Graves. Oh, there it is. There it is. The Alistar matchup into the Malzahar plus the ball delivery. They're saving their jungle, flexing potential with this Rumble.
That's a big side of beef.
So,
Fnatic, they're going to have one hell of a team fight.
Gragas, if they pick it up here, is a good disengaged champion. Can throw a spanner in the works against Fnatic. They can play it from the jungle. Maxlaw has played it all the way through his career. Through Challenger and that, it was in his champion pool, but so is that one of Lee Sin.
Yeah, they take it away from Broxa as well, but you know, he very well may be going on that Rumble. I'm starting to lose my words at this point, too.
Could put it on Faxi is the other one.
Here's another option. Try and push back against that Rumble. Do they take it? Situational tankiness in the Gnar. Is Faxi feeling confident enough to take that toe-to-toe against Soaz?
Now, Gnar is the lane matchup that at least allows you to have side lane control. Less reliable teamfight presence, but it is still there, right? Like, Roccat still have a lot of crowd control coming here. They haven't got the worst teamfight setup of themselves, but where's Broxa going? Is Lee Sin's not available?
That is the
question. Could be the Gragas that we see out of Fnatic here. Or the Graves.
Is still up and available as well. It gives them a little extra power, and they take it. So, good mix of damage, big tanky support. Fnatic, they are gearing up for some big fights.
This rounds out some of their earlier game, at least post-6 damage. Of course, Ori Ezreal need a little bit of time. Rumble does have damage early on. Now with this Graves alongside, allows them to contend somewhat with Roccat, but Roccat, late game for themselves. The Vlad is here. The side lane for Faxi with this Gnar is going to be able to at least punish Soaz once we get later on. And now we have to see the second game of the day that Varus has been picked. I believe it was picked in Series 1.
Yeah. Feels like a season ago at this point.
Yeah, it was Tabs. He was going more for that maxed E, trying to get more damage down that way.
Well, keep an eye on it. One more time. Roccat managed to claw their way back to force the draw in this game number 3, and as the coaches shake hands to walk off the stage one last time today, it is going to be epic. Big implications for Roccat to get out of the relegation zone, for Fnatic to give themselves a nice bubble over the other two teams below them in Group A. It's all on the line here in Week 8. We'll see who's able to take it away. One more time, if you believe in Roccat, hop on Twitter, hashtag ROCWin is your sign. And for Fnatic, it's hashtag FNCWin over at LOL Esports. That's where you got to send them. We'll find out whose comp reigns supreme in the third game of this best of 3.
Whew, this has really got right down to it. Pirate, game 3. Both games have been quite long and have been back and forth. Fnatic, I was thinking coming into this week with a measuring stick for Roccat and Giants. If you beat Fnatic, you basically earn that safe spot, right? You take a win off a team that is supposedly so much stronger. But Roccat right now, they're contending with Fnatic. And now they've got themselves, again, another comfortable setup with this Vlad. Maxlaw's on his Lee Sin. Is it enough?
We're going to have to find out. This game might go a little bit more explosive, a little faster. We had a lot of Cloud Drakes last time on the map, but there's an Infernal. That's a while before it goes up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Doesn't matter. Caps is going down early.
Always like that Infernal first.
Let's see what this invade does.
Faster-paced game, yeah. There's a 3-man stack here. They're waiting to see whether someone from Rockat's going to check.
Yarnum did.
Oh.
There we go. There's the ball.
Break it. Yeah, there you go.
Knock up. They force the flash. No, they don't.
But they forced enough damage down onto Wadid. Look, minions have spawned already. So Wadid, if he goes back now, going to be late to the lane.
Good start.
Important that Fnatic broke that Malzahar passive. Once you do that, Malzahar's a lot less safe against Alistar.
Yeah, very squishy. Has the range, of course, but Jez is still going to have the opportunity to make some plays. You called it in the pick and ban that this was a possibility. And
expect now Ezreal Alistar to stand in the lane as it comes back, because they're going to try and push this as fast as possible. They know Hyanan can't afford to move forward, and that's exactly what they did for the first few moments of this lane. You can see Wadid not there yet. They're getting that push, getting the relic shield stacks, trying to just alleviate as much as they can, get that level 2 faster.
See what they can do against this pokey duo.
Because it's Alistar at level 2. If you break that long duration shield on Wadid with like a Mystic Shot early for Reckless, you Q-flash out of him onto that Malzahar, headbutt him back, and maybe you win the trade, but Jez has lost a lot of his health already.
Yeah, he has. Trying to get involved, not level 2 just yet.
And actually, Roccat have turned around some of this push. Wadid is a little behind on the experience. Hyanan absorbed some of his own in the lane. He was solo there, so actually is going to hit level 2 first in that lane. Just happened.
Brox isn't coming down bottom. He looks like he's just occupied by the Scuttlecrab vision for the time being. Maxlor's actually popped his way Blastcone over the pit, and the junglers will pass. Dodging the Sonic Wave. Nicely done. Red buff versus double buffs. Maxlor takes more damage.
Yeah, Broxy couldn't quite line it up against the wall, so he didn't get that instant proc.
Fnatic have had a lot of long series this split. It's worth pointing out, these guys are no strangers to game number 3s.
And, I mean, when you look at the dynasty of Fnatic, the whole crowd's over that kind of minion. The dynasty of Fnatic. Between 2014, 2015, every split, it was either finals, they won it, apart from the one that obviously Alliance ended up taking home. Even contending, like at third place games, everything over the last 3 years hasn't been the same this split or the last for Fnatic, and they are still trying to regroup, trying to reset themselves. Obviously, they're in a safe spot this split, but certainly not the top contenders that Fnatic have been in splits gone by.
Yeah. The team has definitely done some soul searching, for sure. Continuing process. But Roccat, on their side, they're looking scrappy. They're making proactive plays. Maybe it took them quite a long time to finish out a game, but the fact that they're still contending with the team above them in a split where we haven't seen, honestly, hardly any upsets is impressive to see from their side.
Breaks the shield.
There we go. The Voidlings come in, though. That was last game. Man, what a way to rack things up.
Yeah, they giving Origin a run for their money on the numbers. Not really.
It'll take some catching up to do. You want to hit that level of inhibitors and towers.
You can see the problem there as Fnatic continue with these aggression plays on the bot side. Like, you can see the problem with Reckless on this Ezreal with the Alistar. If you can't get the Qs through the minions, there's not a lot of damage follow-up for Jez's, and he's burned through quite a lot of mana, quite a lot of his health already. Obviously does have potions, we'll be able to stack that back up. So it's not all that bad in that bot lane, but
definitely not.
Gotta be careful when you take those trades bot lane.
Yeah, but we focus pretty hard on the bottom lane. There's a whole lot else going on around the map. I honestly want to focus, since it is top lane week, on what's been going on in the top lane, because we thought Faxi wasn't going to be able to have a winning lane, but he turned around, pulled out the Gnar, and now all he's got to do is avoid Soaz's Flame Spitter for a little while. He does have a CS advantage, and honestly, it's going to be all on if Faxi can get involved, use that teleport when his Gnar bar's up to make the team fights happen. Always tricky to execute. Yeah,
normally it means there's a slight delay on Gnar's build, which ends up being Hex Drinker into the Frozen Mallet, that playstyle where you get the safety, then look for the lane control. It means that Faxi has so much more impact in the 1 versus 1 than Soaz, and then Soaz TP's in and gets the basically guaranteed equalizer, whereas Faxi has to have the Gnar bar, play around it. It's a little bit less reliable in the team fight, so we'll see which one ends up being the influential member of the team.
Well, they're close to hitting level 6. Up at the top, Soaz is actually the one that grabs it first. Meganar's about to come up, but Soaz has no fear. Mid lane, just to push back and forth. We talked about late game being kind of the big name of the game for both these teams, so we could be in for a very long one, but both these mid laners have the potential to really turn fights on their heads as Betsy looks to chase in Caps the time being. Oh, there is a Hemoplague on.
Just forcing him back here.
And Ignite, though.
The thing is, Betsy has already recalled as his Caps, but just trying to force him back. He wasn't necessarily looking for the kill, but Betsy might be looking, if he can get like an E flash in. It's kind of difficult because the minions block a lot of it, and Jez is already coming mid.
Yep. Good defensive maneuver from Fnatic. Send in the cow when all else fails. Fnatic have a lot of vision actually around this Dragon Pit. I don't think they'll be giving up dragons quite as easily as they did last time when it was all Cloud Drakes all the time.
Oh, Fnatic. They're living up to their namesake.
Oh, that's a rush of death. Oh, Wadid gets everything popped on him, and he manages to flash out of harm's way. He does spend both of his summoners as he puts the exhaust on. Jez has followed suit.
Yeah, Shockwave didn't connect out of Caps. They got the flash, though. Denying some of that engage if Wadid were to hit 6 while that cooldown is still unavailable. It kind of stems some of the aggression.
Yep.
Coming from Roccat, but as you said, Fnatic just trying to push further and further into the Roccat jungle, trying to get as much control over this Infernal Drake as they can.
And back down to bot go the supports, Jez's and Wadid taking the places again. Maxlor will find a ward in the brush up here. There's been a lot of vision wars this series so far. And now in a game 3, the team's definitely attuned a little bit more to the play patterns of the kind of thing that you may not necessarily be able to see just from scouting it out. You can see it when you play the teams as long as this series has been.
But, you know, Fnatic are playing a very different setup to the last couple of games. And this is one which is more about team play. I mean, you look at Caps right now. Imagine him as one of the Power Rangers. He gets his Zord, but until you put them all together, you don't quite have that Megazord. That's what Fnatic are looking for.
So the ball delivery system is the Megazord?
No, like the whole thing. You got the Rumble, you got the Orianna, you got the Alistair, the burst from the ultimates, from Graves. Ezreal. It's all going to connect, and that's the end of the episode.
All right. Well, we'll see. It's been a long couple of them. We had a few fillers in there for sure, but now can Roccat close it out, or will it be Fnatic after a very, very long game 2 that they nearly held out in time and again? Foxy taking a lot of damage, gets narbecued for a second, but Soaz runs out of steam, and now it's Mega Gnar time. Soon enough, he flashes in, gets a big Gnar. Soaz is going to follow suit. Wallop is on. There we go. It's first blood for Foxy.
Smacks him down. Turn giant, gets the kill. Not enough for Soaz, and you have to be careful trading against Gnar, because you almost always win the upfront trade, but you almost always lose the tail end because Hyperprocs, Gnar sticks on you, gets multiple rotations of that Hyper third proc damage, and suddenly you got a Mega Gnar.
Yep, Foxy showing he can tangle with our most experienced top laner here in Europe. We showed it at the beginning. So many more games Soaz has, but Foxy was able to show him up there.
And Soaz has to know that. He's played against Gnar so many times.
He's played against so many great Gnar players.
Yeah, he has. But it is deep in this time of this series, right? Where game 3, after what essentially was 70 minutes in the last game of play, including, pick and ban plus that pause we had.
And everything in between, Foxy goes in once again. Snarbart's still stacking up. There's no flash. There's the equalizer, though. And that's going to deter Foxy. But Roccat are looking like they will grab themselves an Infernal Dragon. Uncontested to start this one off. Broxer, though, wants to change that right now. Betsy's going to have to pull away. Maxlor looking to safeguard. Flashes, kicks in. Oh, is he going to follow that one?
No, not if Caps has Shockwave available. That's just a warning shot. Trying to push back the Fnatic aggression.
Yeah. I was going to go into the point about mental fatigue you mentioned early on and how it can make a couple of mistakes. Might have been the case with Soaz up there, but it didn't punish Maxlor.
Ooh.
He held on that Sonic Wave. He didn't get Lee Syndrome. Caps is coming up, though, to push this one out. He's got summoners.
Foxy's no flash. He's going to have to hop over Caps.
Oh, boy, this is a dangerous
game.
Get out of it. That's the Shockwave. Minions are there, but no chance.
You can see Foxy, has the Hex Drinker, is thinking maybe I can outlast this. Couldn't quite position in time against Caps. Still does well in the trade, but it's enough for them to commit. Now, what do Roccat do in response to this? You can see Betsy had backed away. Maxlor had backed away. No opportunity for them to equalize that kill.
So Fnatic get themselves a kill scot-free. And Faxi, that feel when you get killed by a gank from the mid laner. Just roving up. Clearing away the minions, though, is Yarnan and Wadid, pushing back Jezzus and Reckless. This is the range advantage. The Varus Malzahar, it's a lane that we're very used to seeing. We thought things might be changing a little bit, but without them banned away this time, Roccat got their hands on it, and they've been keeping it pushed, even if they don't have the CS advantage.
Yeah. Betsy looking just trade every single time he can up against Caps. Did use his Proto Belt there, so...
It gets found by Broxa. That's a lot of damage. Exhaust is on, though, and the Voidlings push him back. Now he's got a roaming mid.
Wade doesn't have that now. Oh, flash
forward. Nice nether grasp, and it's all in Betsy's hands, but as it expires, Caps flashes away.
Good flash out by Caps. Saves his life. Betsy used that ignite. Now Wadid has used exhaust and flash, so that Malzahar is a lot less lethal, especially without that ultimate too. Roccat trying to set up a play top. They know that Soaz is vulnerable to a lot of this damage. Faxi's about to transform.
Yep, unfortunately he had no minion wave to tank it up for him, so they weren't able to make that dive happen. Meganari hopped backwards instead, and Maxlor spotted on that ward as he goes through Tri-Brush.
And Soaz still has his ultimate as well, so we can just save this tower. There you go. Lays it down, gets rid of all of the minions. Suddenly pressure has been removed from that play.
Nicely done by Soaz. There's the experience shining through. Meanwhile, down at the bottom.
Brux is invading with nobody on his team there.
Oh, and that's what happens.
Wrong neighborhood. That's a really rough play out of Brux. So look at bot lane was pushed towards Fnatic. Mid lane wasn't, but that's because Betsy was out of lane.
Yep.
Killing Broxa.
That was a nice play by Betsy.
Yeah, didn't have the ability to stay alive. Now Maxlor finally finding Soaz.
Here we go, flashes up. Soaz nowhere for him to go though, and Maxlor takes him down.
Maxlor's been stalking that top lane for a good minute and a half now. Finally, you know, finding that situation. Faxi will be able to push this out again. Soaz TP will come up just about when he's alive, but this was Broxa invading. He knows what it doesn't have flash, exhaust, or his ultimate available, but I mean, this early on, against Wadid and Betsy, it's still not enough. Like, Betsy coming down out of the lane is far too much damage for Broxa to handle.
Yeah, he kind of baited himself there. Without a whole lot of secure vision and without any allies in nearby, he was pretty easy pickings once Betsy made a turnaround.
Look at what Fnatic are indicating they're setting up for, though. Looking at a bot lane play. Maybe looking to bring Soaz in as well. That equalizer is nearly available, so if they can drag Roccat forward in the lane and TP in. There's already a TP coming out from Faxi. It's Roccat trying to make the play first, but they're up against a team fighting team. They've got to be careful that they don't overextend.
2 TPs burned, nobody takes the fight. Fnatic weren't able to get the play off, but Roccat, they also were forced to burn that summoner. Nobody was left pushing up on the top side. Jez is looking to make the 2v2 play. Oh, there's the equalizer, though. Flashed and healed by Yarnan.
It's okay for now. I mean, Roccat is still a little tense here, but Maxlor is here, as is Faxi, so they kind of stem any kind of aggression coming from Fnatic.
Roccat reset.
Yeah.
Gonna look to just try to keep it pushed back. It's only 1 tower on the game. Roccat had gotten the first tower blood, and that and a couple of kills are really making up the difference in the gold as we hit the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, hitting that again. And Roccat in game 2 had a lead, and it's the same story. Yeah. Roccat are actually looking mighty good in these last 2 games against Fnatic.
Yeah. I mean, they've all been close. You go all the way back to game number 1, and it was kind of the Fnatic game up until the Baron attempt that turned things on its head. Roccat got a grip, and then they lost it. Fnatic were able to take a big fight and the game. Game number 2 was a long holdout, and Roccat finished the job. Both these teams really wanted it. It means so much when you get to the end of the season. All those points matter. Fnatic, you know, they're looking to stay safe. They're looking to get themselves, you know, into a close to undeniable position for playoffs and that 3rd place spot in their group. Roccat are just trying to stay alive. There's still hope for this team for sure, and they've definitely been on an upturn the last couple weeks.
There's a lot of life left if this is Roccat trying to stay alive. They, I mean, of course, got my eyes fixed on mid lane right now.
Yeah, Caps is going to ghost it out though. Betsy is able to close a lot of distances with that Proto Belt.
A lot of discussion around the teams that are contending around the promotion tournament, right? And from Challenger, of course, there are 4 teams still available. LCS, there technically are still 4 teams that can still be in that mix. Roccat are one of them. And the improvements they've shown this week, I think actually puts them on a platform where they might be good enough to contend with teams like PSG and maybe on a bad day from Schalke, because Schalke haven't looked perfect. Yeah. They had a perfect win record, but this Roccat, I actually think, might be able to contend with them, which probably is going to anger a lot of fans, but Fnatic...
Sometimes it is what it is, and Caps is finding himself caught up and locked up. He's not got that flash up yet, and Betsy, with the help of what did, finishes the job. Meanwhile, Fnatic, they're trying to make a play down bottom, but they have run smack dab out of minions.
Yeah, Fnatic are going to get denied for a couple more seconds. It's enough that Roccat take down the mid tower, and once again, Roccat very focused on taking towers down. It's about an even trade on that one, but remember, Roccat had already taken a tower earlier in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking great. It's honestly like, you talk about this Roccat squad being able to contend with the better challenger teams, but they're contending with Fnatic, who's you know, a middle of the table LCS squad at the moment. This is looking great for this team as they continue to try to finish off the season on an uptick. 2 wins last week. Their only 2 of the split. Had been so many close games. A lot of heartbreak for this Roccat squad, but well, guess what? They're blasting off in week 8.
I mean, you can just see the last game had a 2,000 gold lead at 15, similar in this game, and they've tried to expand on it. They have to watch out for a Fnatic team fight, though. I can't really understate just how impactful this lineup from Fnatic, if everything hits, is going to just destroy Roccat. You got a low mobility AD carry. You got, if you can catch that Vlad before he pools, another damage dealer that's not exactly that difficult of taking out instantly if you can get him.
Yeah, it's going to be slippery. It's going to be difficult. Fnatic, they have the Megazord when they want to fight it, but can Roccat outplay it?
It's if Betsy doesn't die on the first rotation of the team fight. If Betsy survives, Roccat can out-team fight this Fnatic lineup. Oh, Shockwave!
Gonna land. Oh, and there comes the cow, and they throw everything in the kitchen sink at him.
Look at the cooldown on Hyanen's flash.
Oh, that sucks.
It's right about to come up, and Hyanen stepped just too far forward in the mid lane. That might be what Fnatic needs to turn around their fortunes on this one, because they were relying on this Varus to push out mid. While you had Vlad on the side lane, you've got Gnar on the side lane trying to 1-3-1. Suddenly, Varus steps forward, no flash. Down goes the turret.
Yeah, that was just by a couple of inches, and Fnatic just womboed a huge, huge combo on top of him. So it was 1 kill spent for all that, but Fnatic get themselves a tower. They start to swing the gold back their way. Let's take a look at how it happened again.
Fairly straightforward. Caps flash shockwave into the combo out of Alistar.
And there was everything else that honestly wasn't even necessary, but it looked cool.
I mean, they just throw in everything. That's what this comp does. It's like everybody presses R, and then if everybody's dead, Fnatic win.
Seems pretty straightforward.
That's the entire comp. It's good. It's fun to watch. It's nice. Like,
yeah, putting on a show for sure. 2,000 gold lead, or a little bit less than that still for Roccat, though. Betsy looking to extend that as he's uncontested down on the bottom with a line of minions that have congoed forward. He'll be able to finish off this tower. That will be the last outer that Roccat have yet to knock down, and there it goes. We're getting close to that 20-minute mark. Roccat have 2 dragons already. There's another Infernal that'll come up after that. That'll really help them the later this game goes.
Yeah, it's truly will. That, as you said, would be the second Infernal. It's enough. Like, if Betsy starts outputting damage, Hyanen has damage in team fights as well. Just because Fnatic are good at that wombo combo doesn't mean it's a done deal.
Yeah, talked a lot about the good things Fnatic can do, but if Roccat can keep this pressure on, might be hard for them to get back in the game. Fnatic, they definitely seem to be the holdout masters, but I don't think you ever want to be in a situation where you're cowed inside your base once again, even if your late game team fighting is absolutely ridiculous as this team is. What are Fnatic needing to do, though, other than just trying to catch an individual member? Is that all they can really do at this point in the game?
Well, for now, it's wave clear on Fnatic's prerogative. They have to maintain some sense of vision control, wave clear. Just don't let too many objectives go over to Roccat, because there is, you know, a near insurmountable point. Despite having a good team fight. I mean, everybody always says if you've got a wombo combo, then the game's never over until the Nexus is down, right? But if Roccat get to like 10,000 gold ahead, then Roccat can afford to avoid any situations like that. So obviously we're a long way away from that. Yeah, Roccat are in a good spot though. Like Fnatic just need to slow any kind of Roccat playmaking ability, and that's what they're doing with this vision control. You can see forcing Roccat to come in now. Roccat sweep it out. This is Roccat making the right plays, controlling vision, but it's not an easy thing to do right now.
No, it's not, but they're executing on it. Clearing away as much of the vision as they can near the Baron pit. There's still the blue trinket ward inside of it. Obviously, it's very early for Roccat to try and start off that Baron.
And the difficult thing for Fnatic is that it's so tough to control this Gnar. One of the reasons Gnar is such a good matchup into Rumble is right now, if Soaz goes to the bot lane and the minion wave isn't close to his tower, well then Gnar chases you down the lane, kills you, and then takes the tower behind you. So Soaz can't afford to be much further up than he is right now, otherwise Faxi all-ins him.
And we've seen that happen already in this game. Faxi's honestly looked very impressive on this stage in this series over Soaz. Has been a tough fight all across the board though. We still sit 1-1 on this series in what has been honestly a real drawn out slog. But Roccat, they are looking for those precious points, looking to take out Fnatic, a team above them in the standings, a couple teams above them in the standings, and try to get out of that relegation zone.
A team they have never beaten in a series either. Rockat's current win-loss record against Fnatic in history is 6 game wins, 22 losses, but Roccat want to turn that around.
They're looking to change it right now. Soaz is going down. Foxy follows forward. He flashes and he throws the boomerang to secure the kill. Fnatic are trying to mobilize to push back on the tower. True shot is dodged. Just went right by his left ear.
And look at how comfortable this is for Roccat. They push up with the Gnar, bring in the engage tool of Wadid, and it's more of a battering ram than anything else here. They push out, now they're looking for an Infernal Drake. You've got to give credit to Roccat for this performance.
The growth from this team is absolutely impressive to see. There is a Dragon being started now. Fnatic, they're nowhere in position to try and contest this. A very important Infernal Drake for the Roccat team, an extra 8% AD and AP. A bulwark against the Fnatic late game team fighting comp. But we're still a long ways away from how long we've seen some of these games go. Not even 24 minutes on the clock yet, but it's 5-2 in Rockat's favor, and they've got the gold lead.
Got the gold lead, and this is where this last little bit of increasing their lead came from. Oh, it's a Mega Gnar. He's not going to be able to push up the turret, right? He's got a Malzahar back in the back of the lane for him, and even with Mega Gnar, it's enough damage to come through, easily take out that Rumble under tower, and it looks like we're back to exactly the same spot, but this time Fnatic are going to be able to defend. They bring the rest of the team over, and right now for Fnatic, they need to somehow force a fight. And that is easier said than done for this lineup. They need Jezzes to get in their ball delivery system and hope Roccat are kind of stacking on top of each other. But look at how Roccat are playing this 1-3-1. It's so difficult to engage on a Varus. He has his ult to deny. You got Lee Sin to kick away. Betsy can pull out. Faxi already has control in the side lane with the jump. He's 2 levels up on Soaz.
It's a safe siege, especially when you've got kill pressure on all the siegers. So Jezzes and Broxa, they're going to try to bait inside a brush, and there's a ping flying forward. Maxler looks like he'll check into it here. Oh, turns around.
That would have been the moment. That would have been the type of play that if Maxler had face checked into that would have been the kill that could have built Fnatic back into this game.
Yeah. Maxler is definitely keeping a cool head.
You can see Fnatic starting to reach item breakpoints though. Rabadon's has been finished on caps, looking for more items.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Fnatic definitely showed that they can still tango. They have a lot of damage, as we stated quite a lot. Caps in the mid lane. He's got the Morellos as well as the Rabadons. You just said it's a huge amount of damage on that Orianna, and that Shockwave, if it lands, it's going to sting.
There's a lot of damage that Betsy has, though, as well.
Oh, boy. There's the ball. Oh, yeah, and there we go.
Yeah, but Betsy heals most of it back up.
This is true.
Gets that empowered transfuse off and just goes, okay, well, I guess I'll run away then.
Yeah, not too worried about it.
Faxi ignores Rumble while the minion wave is alive, just pushes the tower down.
Yeah. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Roccat continue on the 1-3-1. They keep pushing wards deeper into Fnatic territory. Both sides of the Fnatic jungle are lit up like a Christmas tree for Roccat right now. And let's see how long they wait before they want to try to force out a Baron bait.
And you know, it is a slower pace game. A lot of, you know, the stronger teams when it comes to making plays would be looking to close this game out faster, but you've got to look at what's on the line for a team like Roccat here, being ahead against Fnatic, who is ahead of you in the standings by so far. They want to play this out carefully. That's why there's no over-aggression. This isn't a lineup that can afford to lose this game.
Absolutely not. You want to build on that momentum, get yourself a third win in the series. And over Fnatic, it's so important to not give them the opportunity to come back with a composition like this. Fnatic are masters of doing that. And Roccat, yes, they're playing it out slow. We said the same thing about Game 2, but guess what? They ground out a win. And sometimes that's what you have to do.
And the wave clear tools are once again in effect for Fnatic. Orianna, Ezreal, Graves, Rumble. Everything, if they're throwing it at wave clear, can hold for Fnatic. But they have a very potent combination of ultimates if used together, and Roccat are making a mistake.
Oh, Roccat,
look at this. Roccat, nice play. I like this play onto Soaz, bringing Maxlow this time. It's 3 members.
Oh boy, that's a lot of damage to kick, and everything is thrown Soaz way. No flash. He knew he wasn't getting out alive.
And Betsy had shoved up top. Mid lane had dropped back into the pocket, and Hjanen was safe. There's no reaction play for Fnatic in that moment. The only thing they can do now is assume slightly more control over wards and vision on this top side jungle. They can't do it over bot lane right now because they know Roccat are there. So Fnatic's only response is to ever so slightly increase their top side.
Keep on moving. Foxy pushed up pretty hard right now, but Roccat feeling like they might be able to fight, but they've caught Hjanen again. True Shot comes in. Exhaust is on. The redemption is not there in time. And that's a quick pickup. There's your mistake from Roccat that Fnatic were waiting for.
Yeah, and Roccat now need to at least buy time. Foxy is pushing in the bot lane. Soaz isn't yet there, but has his ultimate available when he is alive. And Foxy, a little unfortunate Mega Gnar timing means he can't push fully onto this tower. Roccat are going to get stalled out from this. Fnatic looking to close in. Look at the minimap. Ezreal and Orianna are coming across.
Oh boy, Foxy, let's see if he can hop, skip, and jump as fast as he can. Fnatic are looking to close the net on him here. Reckless is going to meet him in just a couple of seconds. There's a missing shot. There's one hop, and he is going nowhere, and he knows it. Narbar still a ways away. He does get the hyper. Caps. Oh, flash in the shockwave. He stays alive, though.
But look, Betsy's been able to deter anything in mid through this, and Maxlow is clearing out the vision control on top. This is a fairly intelligent response to this from Roccat, where you look at it, like, a lot of teams would just go, okay, well, the rest of us are safe, let's recall. So Maxlow clears out jungle vision. Betsy maintains. Roccat really look to have stepped up their game.
Yeah, keeping it safe, keeping it even if they'd lost Foxy there, they didn't lose anything else on the map, and now Fnatic have backed away. There's another Infernal about to spawn, Stress.
But I like that Fnatic aren't just sitting back on this when they're not resting. Hjanen was out of position for the second time in this game, and those are the 2 deaths that he has racked up, and it has slowed down Roccat every single time.
Fnatic are looking to fight over this dragon. 5 seconds till it comes up. Mega Gnar's already popped, and now Fnatic are throwing their weight towards the mid lane.
I mean, 3 Infernals would be a massive, massive power, at least boost for Roccat.
See if we get a proper fight here. It looks like it.
Okay, the back.
Betsy, he gone in, he gone out. The shockwave is not going to connect where they wanted to. They find Caps, and now it is a 5v4, and they keep going for more. Looking on it, Soaz, Broxa all low. Maxlord is going to get taken down in the end, but Foxy's still leading the charge.
He can clean up here.
Roccat, yes, he can. He's not got the Narbar just yet, but that's a lot of boomerang damage. He keeps on throwing. It comes right back at you, and now it's going to be Dragon time.
Fnatic could not hold in that fight. Caps ending up dropping low, didn't have his flash or ghost available for that fight. Threw out the shockwave, but to no avail in that fight. I believe it didn't quite even complete the animation before Caps died. That's why it's back available. But Roccat, 3 Infernals on the board, and this is how the fight started. Fnatic trying to come in through the angle. Foxy's Mega Gnar has just expired, so if ever there was a time for them to fight. But look at Betsy finding the way into the fight. Caps couldn't get that ultimate off fully, and Fnatic, this should have been a good position for them to fight. Equalizer is cutting Roccat out, but still they lose 2 members. Foxy is strong enough to just march on alone into 4 members of Fnatic as Maxlow was distracting them. And Roccat get the dragon and again extend their lead.
No smite, no problem. Maxlor gave his life for the effort. It is 8-4 now in kills.
Hey, okay. Woodid's got to be careful on this. He's dancing in the bush.
Yeah.
But this game is not done yet.
No, it's not. But Roccat, they're clearly in the driver's seat. It's a big gold lead. There are 3 Infernal Dragons, plus a Cloud Drake. You can't undercut that for sure. And Roccat, I mean, they have not made that many mistakes this game. You talked about Yarnan's a couple of missteps. Really, not much more than that. And it is really impressive to see them grow at this pace. But Fnatic, they are not going to give up with that fight.
That's something we have learned about Fnatic this split.
I think we learned it a while ago, but
that's true.
Even this, it doesn't matter what generation of Fnatic it is. They always seem to have some crazy games, don't they?
This one has had its share of base saves. The Unicorn series, game 2 of this series, multiple times. Wasn't quite enough to be successful in this series.
Yeah.
But
heart attacks of games for sure.
I mean, they got the Ezreal ult, they got the Orianna, they got wave clear enough that without a Baron buff, Roccat cannot push through, and we've seen a timid approach out of Roccat in this series. It's not been all-out aggression. It has been, can we 100% make that play, or maybe even 90%? It's not been 50-50s for Roccat in any stretch of the imagination, and as long as they maintain that, they could be all right. Roccat gets spotted out by a blue trinket.
It's reminiscent of, honestly, some of the approaches of the top teams in Europe. G2 Esports especially comes to mind when they famously stated they don't want to go for those 50-50s. They only make the big plays that they know they can win, or at least have a very big chance of winning. And it seems like teams like Roccat are taking cues from them there. Yeah,
it's not quite the same approach, but I understand the implication. Trying to go for that slower approach. I think G2's is more conscious.
Yeah, that's probably true. But Roccat looks like they're going to get this Baron too, unless Broxa is able to make the hero play. Maxlor kicks him, goes right back in, and he secures it. Maxlor, oh man, that was sick.
That was risky. That was risky but good from Broxa. They just cracked the bot lane inhibitor tower as well. Soaz has not been able to hold against Faxi. And Fnatic, can they hold now? 3 minutes and 10 seconds on this Baron buff. And Roccat are looking to siege.
Wow-wee. Okay, 9-4 now. They take down Broxa as well as the Baron. Let's see what they can get done with this buff. Map control. They've had a lot of it this game. Pings, though, on the open inhib in the bottom lane. It is the obvious choice here for Roccat, but they continue to stick to the split push strategy. Vlad up in the top. Soaz is going to be sent to deal with him.
They still don't have Brock, so they have to be careful. And this is such an upset if Roccat win this, in the sense that this will be the first time this entire split that a team sitting in the bottom 4 of the standings will have taken a series of a team sitting in the top 6 spots. Roccat are looking to write that history for themselves.
Let's see if they can, or Fnatic will deny it. Woodid's gonna have to flash away. Meanwhile, nobody is stopping Foxy as he has free hits on the inhibitor in bottom. Fnatic realize just a second too late. Should be able to get back, maybe cut him off. He's got his flash available, and he might just need to use it. Yes, he does.
They're committing everyone to this.
They're going for it. That's a big shockwave, or not big enough, though. They get the Gnar, but look what Rocket's doing.
Look top, look mid. Roccat are rushing in. Fnatic overcommit to saving bot, and they will lose 2 inhibitor towers from it, and an inhibitor in the top lane.
Roccat, they're taking Faxi's sacrifice here, turning it into a big objective swing for themselves. 35 minutes now on the game. They've cracked the base of Fnatic. They've opened up inhibitors in 2 other lanes. Fnatic, they're going to have to hold out for a little while longer still.
When this has become an incredibly tense game for Fnatic. What looked like a controlled game 1, in the fashion we would expect to begin the series for Fnatic, got ripped away from them by Roccat coming back in game 1, and just about maintained into a Fnatic win.
Yeah.
And from that turnaround in game 1, Fnatic have looked up against the wall at most points in this series.
They have been able to push back from that wall so many times here.
They have.
I mean, but this is getting big. Roccat have so many advantages. And it is so huge for them to win this series.
Jesus is out on his own. Jesus needs to start his recall, like, right.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's
crouching support, hidden cow.
Oh no! Now he shows on a ward.
Wait,
he's shown on a ward. Like Roccat now know they can turn for it.
I think that
he was safe in the butt. Oh,
wait for it. Wait for it. Nope. Goodbye. That was weird.
Oh, they found Betsy.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Everybody just lost their minds for a second, I think.
Yeah, this is
going a little low, but that is a huge amount of regeneration in Fnatic. They don't have anything like that. In goes Maxlore. They got 2 down here. Roccat, all of a sudden, they're able to turn this one on. Shockwave, it's going to be whiffed. Caps is isolated from the rest of the team. Yarden flashes forward. They get the kill.
It's all about stopping the backs here. Look at Betsy running up mid lane.
They're going for it.
I mean, the rest of Fnatic, they're desperately trying to get back. It's only Reckless that actually recalled. It's only Reckless on Broxah. Roccat look like they're about to do it.
They might just. It's 37 minutes on the clock now. It's only Reckless for another 10 seconds as Jesus is not going to come back up. Can Reckless be the hero that Fnatic needs? I don't think it's going to happen. There's a lot of damage here, and he's got to get back up. There is no chance now. The last of the Nexus turrets are going to fall. Jesus goes in for the hero play, but it's all Nexus, and Roccat, after one hell of a long series, will finish off the Nexus and take the series 2-1. What an upset!
Roccat, for the first time in history, have defeated Fnatic in a series. And that means so much to Roccat to maintain their spot, looking for the 4th spot in Group A.
What a good feeling it must be. Take down Fnatic for the first time in your org's history, to string together 3 victories after not having gotten a single one throughout much of the split. What a turnaround for this team.
Major turnaround. You can see smiles on their faces. Perhaps a little less jubilation than I was maybe expecting off such a big win for Roccat, but nevertheless, like, the pressure's on for Giants to even that win up.
Yeah, well, they'll get to play this Roccat squad later on in the week, and oh man, that's going to be even spicier, I think. Roccat, though, well-deserved win for them, and such a long series to hold out. That was a 37.5-minute game, and that was our shortest by far.
Long series, but Roccat come out with a win for Fnatic. It's an unexpected defeat at the end of this week. I think when they're looking at the standings, Fnatic themselves would expect to take down Roccat, but on the day, the games go the opposite way. It's long, hard-fought games. This wasn't Roccat sweeping Fnatic aside by any means, but Roccat were in control of Game 2 and Game 3, and Fnatic were trying to play for the late game, and there was just one too many mistakes.
And Roccat, for their side, honestly, didn't make nearly that many of it. You pointed it out so many times in the game, but it was very smooth from them, and that's not the kind of thing we've come to expect from the bottom teams in the LCS. We've seen a lot of mental mistakes. We've seen positional errors, and this is a team that has really improved it so rapidly.
Yeah, so rapidly. I mean, that was coming into today. I don't think many people would have expected quite such a...
Maybe they get ahead in some games. It still looked like Fnatic were going to be a pretty big favorite.
I mean, when you look at it, like, Rockat's strengths typically have been later on in the game, so I think you could be excused for thinking Fnatic in most games would take the lead early on and then end up in a rough situation if Roccat are fighting back, if Roccat are playing at their best. But this last 2 games, like, Roccat ahead. Fighting Fnatic at all opportunities.
We had everything in this series, man. The first game, that was honestly a little bit of back and forth, the Fnatic controlling the early game, and then kind of Roccat having a chance, but then fumbling it at the end. The second game going so ridiculously long, a big pause that Roccat had almost finished, and then they get aced, and then to come back, and then after that, to win this game, and to win it, honestly, looking just really good.
I mean, it's hard not to oversell it. Like, Roccat have won their last 3 series now. Like, we're going to have to check for the next time Roccat play when the last time that actually happened was. Like,
because we looked at the 2 series wins and it was a while ago, so we might have to dip back further.
You have to go all the way back to 2015 for 2 back-to-back wins. So, like, this surge from Roccat is unprecedented in the last year and a half of the organization's existence. So you talk about peaking when necessary.
Clearly.
That's Roccat really putting those improvements into practice.
Yeah, it's really nice to see from that team, and it makes the race for the promotion tournament all the more interesting going forward in the next couple of weeks. But for more now, Quickshot is on with some of tonight's winning players.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined, of course, by Foxy and Betsy. First of all, congratulations. It was a pretty tough series, it felt like. Foxy, let's start from your point of view. How did the game play out, and how did you guys end up taking the 2-1 after what felt like very long games?
We just tried to keep our morale high after every game, even if we lose. Like, we were losing a lot this season, so we're just trying to keep the morale high, positivity, and that's how we just come back and win games, I think.
Well, it definitely shows. 3 series wins in a row now, Betsy. Vladimir and Swain, it was your comfort picks from last year. They seem to be working for you this weekend. Is it just the picks that's working for you now, or what's different?
I think with the LeBlanc and Rice nerfs, this patch is really hard to, it's really hard to know what champs are actually strong. So I just went with my comfort picks from back in the day.
Yeah, it definitely shows, definitely working out. Foxy, you mentioned it's been a lot of losses for Roccat. It is, your first split here with the team on stage and whatnot. How does it feel now that you've got 3 series wins in a row?
It just feels really great. Like, gives us all more motivation to win more games, like play more solo queue, play more. Like, we just want to win more. We just want to come back, show what we got. That's all.
Okay, let's look forward. A lot of the expectation from Roccat up until today was promotion tournament or 4th, right? Safe spots. Now, if we actually look at the standings, you guys now have 3 wins and 7 series losses. Fnatic, 4 series wins and 6 series losses. That's a 1 series difference. If you guys take down Giants or pick up another upset, maybe you're looking at playoffs. Betsy, is that something you guys are aware of or have been thinking about at all?
We didn't think that we would actually get to playoffs, I think, most of us. But now that we actually beat Fnatic, I think there's a slight chance that we actually get to playoffs.
Okay, 1 or 2 more questions here, Foxy. This loss today by Fnatic is the first time a bottom 4 team has beaten a top 6 team.
Yes.
Did Fnatic lose the game, or did Roccat win the game?
I think we won the game. It looked like that, and it felt like that in the game. We just punished their mistakes, and we win.
All right, very last question, Foxy. Let's look forward. 4th or 3rd, where will Roccat finish and why?
I would like to finish 3rd, but it's a really tough path to that 3rd place. But we're looking to secure our 4th spot right now, beat Giants, and then we can look forward after that.
That's a very, very good answer. Thank you very much. Congratulations again on your 3rd series win and the first time Roccat has taken down Fnatic in a series in the history. So well played, guys. We're going to head over to the analyst desk for the post-game lobby.
Welcome, everybody, to the post-game lobby, where I'm joined by Veris and Crepo still after that series. Well, fantastic. Excuse me?
He got an intro this time. Congratulations.
Yeah,
you were also real loud in my ears, so I missed that.
Sorry! Now looking back at our final series of the evening. Wow, Roccat, congratulations, another win. We said beforehand the last time they beat 2 opponents back-to-back was summer 2015. Do you want to guess when the last time they beat 3 opponents back-to-back was, guys?
I'm going to guess summer 2015. I too, I'm going to guess summer 2015.
Well,
winning streaks, man. Momentum is important.
I thought it was so clever. I thought it was so clever, but I definitely wasn't. And anyway, monumental. Roccat gets 3 wins in a row, which, of course, for now leapfrogs them over Giants into that safe spot. We heard Betsy saying it there, who is also player of the series. Well, it might be possible. Obviously, it is mathematically possible, but, Mats.
It's a tough mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Had a chat with the stats team, and basically, in order for them to make it into that spot, they need to get convincing victories in their following games. And when you look at the likes of Misfits and G2 on the horizon...
You mean 2 O's, right?
Yeah, 2 zeros. It's going to be a tough mountain to climb for Roccat to be able to make it into that third place.
Yeah, if I understood it correctly, they need to get 2 O's, while Fnatic simultaneously need to then lose 0-2 twice, and then the result of the remaining match has to be similar.
Yeah.
And then there's a chance, because obviously we're looking at win-loss differential here in terms of
wins
games.
And losses.
Well, in terms of games and not series. Obviously, that impacts the standings if they have the same amount of series wins in the end. That's very hard, but I think the Roccat guys had the right mentality. Just like, you know what, it's really good for our race and consolidate the 4th place spot.
Yeah, and I also think just in the interviews now we've had with the guys here, Faxi and Betsy, last week also Did and Hjarnen, I mean, they look happy, and why wouldn't you be? And of course, we don't know how they acted because we didn't interview them after losing games, obviously. Well, Maxler a couple of times, and he always keeps a good face up and a positive atmosphere, and it really looks good. But now the question is, if you get into that safe spot, how do you keep that going then to next split? But I don't think they're thinking about that yet, and they shouldn't either.
I think we should just be pleased with the fact that Roccat have shown growth since after following IEM. I think that as a team, they're doing the best that they could have hoped for, right, in the current situation, because a lot of expectations were that we would have the same standings throughout the rest of the split. It would be Roccat in bottom, Giants in 4th, and the fact that they've been able to grow so much and been able to even take a series off Fnatic is big for the organization.
Yeah, they go back to Confer picks here. We had Super Saiyan Betsy. I think he needs to go Super Saiyan 2 and 3 if he wants to beat Misfits and especially G2 Esports. They can definitely challenge Giants there. Maybe like if this loss breaks Fnatic, there's a world where they go 0-2 versus Giants, and then all it takes is one upset win somewhere from Roccat. Like, it's a thin storyline, but at least we can look what happens. But more importantly, I think is what Trevor said. First time a bottom 4 team in this very kind of static league beats a top 6 team, and it's important.
It is definitely very important. And to that, I want to ask you if you see improvement. But we have said also, even with the 2 wins last week around for Roccat, we didn't want to point out too many of the mistakes that happened in game. So could you identify some things or elements in Rockat's play for you that have significantly improved?
I think Betsy as an individual, the fact that he was able to play on Comfort Champions has done a lot for their mid lane control, because they're not they're not guaranteed to lose a lane, right? Like, even though there were criticisms looking to particularly their bottom lane, when you look at Wadid playing Malzahar Varus, the fact that they were not able to punish the Alistair lane as hard as they could have is a room for debate. Like, on an individual level, I think that there is still criticisms for Roccat, but the fact that Faxi was able to get a solo kill down onto Soaz, the fact that Betsy is now consistently holding his own when he's able to get his hands on these comfort champions are the big things for me that I feel are positives for Roccat.
Anything to add?
I think they're in the learning stage of learning how to play in an open map. Their side lane control is not the greatest, but it's at least there. Like, I think they're identifying objectives, not always the right ones. Sometimes they greed for turrets when like Baron Vision should be their objective, but I like that they're setting goals and going for them. They're not a bottom tier team that just sits there and waits for the game to happen, because that's exactly kind of the style I think Fnatic was expecting with their drafting and their team comps. So they're at least more proactive, and they're willing to kind of go for fights, even if they're not 100% accurate or right, because you can't expect the shot calling to be on point, because if it was, well, they wouldn't be a bottom tier team.
Right.
So there was a little bit of growth. I do think this is Roccat on the upswing temporarily, because both their opponents majorly dropped the ball. Like last week, Vitality handed them a couple of free wins because of their inability to 1-3-1. This time it was Fnatic playing very kind of compact drafts, like 4-1s that were always losing in the important stages of the game, which makes it much easier for Roccat to play because there was very little counterplay.
Right, and let's shift our attention then towards Fnatic, who, you know, not all is lost, definitely not, but this was in our minds a very important series for them to see if they could kind of turn things around with the information that we have about the lineup, with the information that we do have about Reckless. Now, this must be an incredibly heartbreaking loss and a tough nut to crack, Thaddeus.
I think that now moving forward for Fnatic, we have to see how they hold together, because as a team, their expectations coming into this split were exceptionally high. Like, they brought in a talented individual with Caps. They had amazing soils in the top half of the map. You have the staple bottom lane and Reckless and Jezzes. Like, expectations for this team were much higher than they originally were. And the fact that they are now losing to Roccat, a team that has struggled to even net themselves a win until recently in the split, I think is just real cause for concern.
Yeah, and if you read between the lines as well, a lot of their failures was clear lack of communication. Like not many of their plays are set up well. We have Roccat popping off game 1 with invades, trying it twice, game 2 and 3. The third game he invades without mid lane priority. That is like one of the fundamentals of League. You do not invade any area of the map if your adjacent lanes can't get there quicker than their opponents, aka when you have priority. He gets popped by Betsy, falls behind, loses control of the early game. We see so many instances where Fnatic are not on the same page. Like Soaz is getting pressured after getting solo killed. Nobody's really helping him, and he's still dying.
The flank from Jez on Alistair.
Yeah, that was like the Hail Mary. Like I'm not gonna like flame that one too much because I understand where it was coming from. But yeah, you see communication breakdown from Fnatic, and I think it's hitting their comms, and that's when the team really starts struggling.
Right, and yeah, to me it's also quite interesting the fact that obviously we have the reckless information now and the article that came out, and you have players like him and like Soaz on that team who are supposed to be kind of the strongholders that help the others, right? The same with Jessis actually as well.
Yeah.
Broxa and Caps are the, I say newbies, but of course I mean rookies and the new elements in that team. From a standpoint of having such experienced players who have been through a lot, Reckless and Soaz, and who have gone through immense heights. You know, they've won so many championships back to back. They had great performances at the World Championship. How do you deal with the fact that you're now on that downward swing again? And for the first time, I think, for Reckless and Soaz, it doesn't look like, oh, you know what, we know for sure that this is going to take an upward turn.
Yeah, this is similar to like Reckless's breaking point of when I kind of play with him in Alliance. That's like, he was like really deep emotionally right there as well, and he kind of, as a person, he closes off really easily. So we need to rely on Fnatic's infrastructure and environment. Hopefully the coaching staff has enough experience to deal with and has built up enough trust. I think it's really important that when you're winning and you're doing well, that's when you buy into that relationship and you get a lot of trust and a lot of credit that they can now rely on to hopefully get access to Reckless and get access to the team members and start building up that team environment again. I don't know, because it's been rough for Fnatic. They had a pretty new coaching staff. Like Quay is like their manager. He's been around the longest, rather. Nico joined at the end of last split, so he's still relatively new. So maybe, yeah, if they have a really good team synergy, they can break through this breaking point. If not, it may go downhill even farther.
Yeah, I mean, we are being quite gloomy because historically we expected more from the organization and from the plan that was from an outset now, and because we have the information about the players, because not all is not lost. They will likely still get to playoffs, and who knows what will happen there, but it is important for us to bring up. And we also want to touch back on earlier with Vitality. They took out Origin 2-0 in a match showcasing roster swaps on both sides. We had Syncroft, the first appearance of Origin, and Hachani back in the lineup for Vitality.
Well, I feel that Hachani has definitely looked good for the side of Vitality. It was a discussion that Stress and I had earlier on the day where he seems to be trying to make plays on the map. He seems to be working with Joko to make these kind of plays. The big question is, was OG really a team that was good enough to look to try and punish the aggressive moves from Hachani? And this is something that is worth tracking throughout the next few weeks, whether or not Hachani has rectified some of his old issues, or whether or not this is something that can still be punished by stronger teams.
Yeah, I think we saw Vitality very lost when it came to shot calling the last few weeks, and I think the break time has done them good. It's both tempered maybe Hachani's like issues that he had with the team. Like if he tempered fate, but if he slows down his tempo and like his rapid face checks, and the team speeds up a little bit to meet him in the middle, then you can actually go for, I think, what is good synergy. And we saw a lot of productivity, like this tempered fate right here, Shocks.
Well, it's actually what I brought up before this series. If Hachani can, die a bit less, and because it is because he wants to be proactive and make plays, and we couple that with Vitality doing good early, even in the games that they lost, that could be a good combo.
Definitely a good combo, because if we see like this series, it was working out a little bit. But Hachani's play is very much so centered around disappearing from the lane. Somebody made the joke on Twitter, he usually disappear for like 30 seconds at a time, basically dying. But like, this guy loves stepping into lane, into fog of war, going to river, getting a deep ward here and there, like threatening the mid lane and constantly being on the loose and being a question mark for the enemy team. Like, you need to synergize with your jungler then and create and then actually step in the opening if it presents itself. If you're doing that alone, obviously you're going to die. But we saw it very often. A lot of Abyssal Voyage is attempted very often, even against a very bolstered Origin. So I like it. Maybe they can improve a bit more.
I also want to call out Nukeduck again, player of the series, had a fantastic Vladimir and had a great Echo, making a lot happen. And that is also what we want to see. Players like that being like, yeah, you know what? We got to step up. This is when we got to make it happen. I'm going to pick this Echo and win this game.
It's enjoyable to watch him play, a player that had a lot of praise in his arrival to the LCS. And over time, he's been a little bit up and down. But he is a player I feel that we've talked a lot about throughout the split, someone that has been a consistent performer, at least on the side of Vitality. So I think that it's nice now to see that against Origin, at the very least, he can perform above expectations. And now the question is, can he maintain that performance against the rest of his teams in his group? Because there are quite a lot of strong teams.
Definitely, that's coming up for them. And for Origin, they had a loss here. Synchrof came in. He did have some good moves early, and he didn't seem afraid to play. And they did pick off some people with Expeke as well early. So, I mean, in terms of the story that we're just making changes in light of possibly the promotion tournament, have you guys seen anything where you can see an upward trend?
I mean, Synchrof was at least comfortable on stage. When a new player comes in, you got to check his nerve levels. He got invaded on his second buff that he ever takes here on the LCS stage, and he took it. Yep. He didn't even flash away, took the buff, made some proactive plays. So I got definitely okay. I'm actually a bit disappointed in Expeke's shot calling. Like, he used to be such or part of a team with great shot calling, but from a support position, you should be able to like guide your team a bit more, I think. Maybe that's like communication issues or no synergy, but at this point they should be slightly at a higher level than they are.
But it's quite interesting that you mentioned that, because we got a couple of snippets of some of their communication within the game, and it's actually Sartorius that's making a lot of the calls in the direction of the team. So the fact that we're getting all that vocal leadership from actually the top half of the map, I think is actually quite fascinating from the side of Origin.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Let's take a look at the standings after today's matches. And with an important note there, don't believe everything you read. No team is locked into the promotion tournament at this stage. It is still mathematically possible for Origin to be safe, but it's just about as mathematically possible for Crepo to get Challenger this season. So I
actually think I have better chances of hitting Challenger than Origin not making it to the relegation tournament. And what I mean by that is that they're really screwed right now.
I was going to say I don't want to laugh at Team's fate. I just wanted to laugh at you. So
great.
That didn't make it better.
Jongens vragen is liefdevragen, hè, Shox?
That didn't make it better at all, did it?
I don't know if I agree with him.
You don't know what I said.
Exactly.
No, but yeah, it's still technically possible, but we have
to.
I think they should start preparing for the possibility of potentially playing in the
They are. I mean, that's why they added some people to their roster and are trying this. So we have to track how that evolves from the side of Origin. Let's also talk a bit about the meta. 7.5 today. LeBlanc, not good, you know. We did see. Actually, Fnatic did win the game.
LeBlanc's 100% win rate after her nerfs here in the LCS.
Yeah,
so I don't know what you're saying here. No. This is obviously result-based analysis. He was only like 2.7% out of like damage share from a team perspective, so it wasn't that low. But yes, I saw a distinct lack of like Ignite all-ins in the bottom lane. I want to see that more. I'm hoping for tomorrow.
There were 3 today only. Actually,
there was a lot of Ezreal too, which does make all-inning a little harder.
You can.
Onto an Ezreal. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but perhaps there was a little bit of respect down in the bottom lane. Perhaps say, hey, why gamble it? You know, why not?
Did you guys think holistically that we saw a acceptable level of adaptation to 7.5 today? And is there really just not that much more craziness to come?
No, there's definitely more possible changes. I think what we saw is, for example, you can go Emax Varus with Blade of the Ruined King first. You know, like, you don't go all in on lethality. Like, you see the higher value on Ezreal, on the Ashe. But obviously, as the sample size is increased, that's when we get a correct read on it. We'll need to see tomorrow when some of the stronger bot lanes play, whether they actually opt for a similar style or if they want to go like Lucian, Kalista, and the likes.
I'm looking a lot at mid lane as well, because Deathfire Touch has affected some of the mid laners as well, like Cassiopeia as well. We didn't actually see a huge amount of value on her today, and you heard it from Betsy himself, like he wasn't entirely sure what the mid lane meta is. I think tomorrow's games will be quite exciting to see the top 4 teams and how they evaluate the current mid lane meta. But champions like Fizz have had a few changes. Vladimir has become popular because it was prioritized by both Vitality and Roccat. He may rise in popularity as an answer to the Vladimir. I think there are a couple of interesting changes. Like Twisted Fate is a bit of a unique one that I think could make its way.
Is that a various pick to us?
No, it's just something that I think has potential. potential given the current mid lane meta.
So it's a Vedius pick to watch.
Maybe. But that's just a personal preference. Mid lane mages are still very strong, like Victor, Azir, we're still likely to see as well.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting that Betsy said in the interview, well, we don't have a grasp on the meta, so I played Swain, but you also played it like 2 weeks ago. But it
Probably didn't have a grasp on the meta back then.
But they won. As for us, we will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central European Time as we celebrate Top Lane Week with a bang. We have some top matchups. Our 4 highest placed teams are facing off, and we will be running a second stream during G2 versus Misfits focused on the top lane. The Fisher will be hosting that with special guests Odoamne and Soaz. And Color, excited. The last time was a bot lane stream with yours truly right here, and now top lane stream with the Fisher, Soaz, and Odoamne.
Tomorrow is going to be super hyped. People at home should be excited because these are the best teams that Europe has to offer. They've learned a lot. They're playing on a new patch, and I'm genuinely excited to see what these teams bring out tomorrow.
Yeah, couldn't say it better. The top 4 teams in Europe clashing for spots in their group, you know, the numbers 1 and 2 respectively everywhere. I'm super excited. I hope for action from the bottom laners.
Too, yeah.
I hope top laners do not get stuck playing Gnar into Maokai or Maokai into Nautilus or like these tank matchups all the time. So I hope we get some tank bans and play like see some Gnar matchups, see some Rumble, maybe see something else. It would be exciting.
Yeah, we hope that happens.
Allowy.
Oh, you guys are listening. All right, this is just entirely too loud. Well, this has been fun, guys. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to ask it. It wasn't really fun, though.
It was just to put you in an awkward position, which worked perfectly. It is time for us to log off out of the post-game lobby. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central European Time. That is 9 a.m. Pacific as our celebration of the top of the world continues.
Celebration, Sean Connery.
Good night.
That was money. In the morning.
Navian's going to find Joker, though. An easy kill, picks up double buffs. Survives for a few more seconds on the shield. Cubes him up. That is growth. Nobody tries to kill a Chani for the 45th time.
Okay. Vladimir. No flash Vladimir. We need to go Vladimir.
Synchron, not going to die yet, not going to find a kill. This is a delayed ace, it feels like. Double kill for Cabo. Sartorius is down and Vitality and Crest all onto Origin. Vitality will take down Origin after killing Expected to take the lead in the series 1-0. Alright, Asharo into Napier. Easy peasy. Steelback summoning heal saves his life. Keep him alive, but the tower has fallen. Yipta, he's still alive. One more tower hit will take him down. He's managed to escape. They've got tabs. They've got Synchron. Vitality have won a fight. Double kill for Yipta, and that's how Vitality does it. They're not done with the kills. Gabashar gets dropped on the steps of the mountain as the Williams are doing their work on the Nexus, and Vitality are one step closer to the Summer Splits.
Calls it mid, Hemo playing on 2. He's locked up under tower, and the timing on the ult from Broxa secures him a 3rd kill. Reckless back to the safety on his tower. Fnatic are melting, though, as Broxa has to flash away. That's Roccat clearing up 3. And Foxy goes in for a wild ride. The results in a kill onto Reckless, and now they keep on chasing. Oh, Betsy, no, he's got himself a redemption. He's not out of there, but Nautilus ult knocks him up. Stabs finishes the job. Let's pop the Guardian Angels and get rid of the Tom Kenshaw already. It's all Nexus. Fnatic will take game number 1. Finish the LCS open. Have they overcommitted trying to defend? It's Fnatic. It's Soaz. He's going down. It's Yarnan that gets the kill. They've caught Faxi right now. He's going to have to flash away. Dominus on. Is it enough? No. Soaz, he's flashing in for it. And Broxa blows him away. There's a big redemption to keep him nice and healthy. And Betsy finds himself 1v3 right now. I don't think he can live through that. And Cap pops him. Yarnan, desperate fight here. Yarnan taking down Caps on the back half. Maxlor will give his life. Go, Rocket! Wait a minute! I don't think they're gonna do it! Wait, Yarnan, oh, okay, that's it! It's over! They didn't stress, and we are going to game 3! Foxy taking a lot of damage, gets barbecued for a second, but Soaz runs out of steam, and now it's Mega Gnar time. Soon enough, he flashes in, gets a big Gnar. Soaz is gonna follow soon. Wallop is on, there we go! It's first blood for Foxy. That Maxwell finally fighting Soaz. Here we go, flashes up. Soaz nowhere for him to go, though, and Maxwell takes him down. The sometimes it is what it is, and Caps is finding himself caught up and locked up. He's not got that flash up yet, and Betsy, with the help of Wadid, finishes the job.
Like this play on Soas, bringing Maxwell this time. It's 3 members.
Oh boy, that's a lot of damage to kick, and everything is thrown Soas' way. No flash. He knew he wasn't getting out alive. Roccat, after one hell of a long series, will finish off the Nexus and take the series 2-1. What an upset!